Right on.
Hey, dude, I ain't what you think I am.
Baby, we all got secrets. It's okay. Are you telling me that you are not...
Yeah, I'm not a woman.
White? Oh, the deception. The betrayal, man. You deceived me.
Calm down. I'm a...
Negro, please. Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh?
Two things you need to know. I'm the king. And number two is, look out, man. Look at that. They're coming at you. You see that? It's called karate, man. And only two kinds of people know it. The Chinese and the king. One of them is me.
In heaven's darkest hour, one among many chose to challenge the throne and the Creator. One filled with jealousy and rage towards God's newest creation, humans. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan, one who will deceive the whole world with lies and deception. He was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
They're in our midst. That's an understatement.
5 Albuquerque Center.
Albuquerque, I got 523, 240, 250.
And Executive 523 Albuquerque Center. American 672, climb and maintain flight level 380.
Climb and maintain flight level 380, American 672.
They're all over the damn place. They're in our midst, and they are family.
Hey, it's American 1095. Yeah, something just passed over. Like don't know what it was, but it's at least 3,000 feet above us. So yeah, I passed right over the top of us.
Okay, American 1095, thank you.
WTF? What the فخور محمد العملية?
And American 1095, can you tell if it was in motion or just hovering?
Make it out whether it was a balloon or whatnot, but it was just really either bright or had a big reflection on it, several thousand feet above us, going opposite directions.
Okay, Roger.
Was it a Google balloon? Tesla. UFO.
Aliens are real. That's the possibly true, very dramatic revelation from scientists.
We're related to them because they were the ones that had a hand in establishing us as a hybrid race 100,000 years ago.
My original feeling was I was looking at a giant insect.
And now, reports of lights in the sky, glimpses of spacecraft, possible alien sightings being reported all over the world. Are they aliens? The first video images are coming in.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. Oh my God.
What the f*** is this?
It's true. We're all in danger.
And you need to be presented with the material because, damn it, you all deserve the truth. You have a right to know and you have a need to know because you are the people that this whole damn thing is all about.
Oh, Jesus.
An encounter of the first kind. That's when you see a UFO.
Indianapolis, Aries 31 has traffic 2 o'clock, slightly above.
Can you say aircraft type?
Negative, Center. No distinct outline. Tell you the truth, the target is rather brilliant.
The second kind is when you see evidence of it.
I've tried, in the time I had, to do two things. To impress upon you the reality of the extraterrestrial presence.
NASA's chief scientist makes a bold prediction. Ellen Stofan said, quote, "I think we're going to have strong indications of life beyond Earth within a decade. And I think we're going to have definitive evidence within 20 to 30 years. She argues it's not an if, it's a when. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope already suggests that nearly every star in the sky hosts planets, which could potentially be hospitable." Very exciting news. Give us a little spring in your step. Aliens, according to one scientist anyway, may be a possibility.
Hold it. Yeah, Starbuck.
It must be for you, Sir Douglas.
The third kind is when you make contact.
The colonel said, what we've got in here is we're interviewing a gray alien.
All right.
It was one of those things that put this thing inside of me.
That really sounds like a conversation for your OBGYN.
Well, I thought, boy, we had no idea we were going to see the real thing. All we saw was film.
You had to have a little bit of heart racing at that moment. What did this gray alien look like? Could you describe him a little bit?
This one looked a little bit oriental.
Sorry, it's just... it just kind of... Okay. You all right? I'm okay.
So I'm just wondering if it looked almost human, what about this didn't look human?
Basically, the shape of it and the size.
How was its head size compared with a normal human, for example?
Brain was kind of a little bit bigger. And some of the nose was very, very small. And the ears were just like holes. Mouth was very small.
Armstrong probably didn't do a thorough search. Let me go in there, because I've got a hankering to kick some butt.
It's the best I can, just off the cuff. It looked like a giant insect. being dark brown and hunched in a corner, very insectoid in appearance. It almost looked like it had an exoskeleton. I was always told that monsters weren't real. And now I find out they are, but they live in the heart of men.
But they're all around. And you should, I think, feel a sense of gratitude and satisfaction to know that some of them are good folks, nice folks, and they care about you.
We just become best friends? Yup! Let's have some meatloaf. You want some? Yes. I knew you'd come. Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
But the fourth kind, there's nothing more frightening than the fourth. Is when they abduct you.
I woke up in a dirty metal dome and 40 little gray aliens watched me pee in a steel bowl. When they took the bowl, walked out.
Interesting. Well, I'm having none of it. Back off, aliens. There's only one America, and no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to replicate our proud American spirit.
Charge them! Charge them! 3 hits, strategic.
The only hardcore thing is that there is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
Scientists are correct. About 25% of Florida would be flooded, along with low-lying areas all over the world.
For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil. And in recent months, as David Culhane reports, research has uncovered facts to support that theory.
Scientists claim that the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere has been rising over the past 100 years, that the great sheets of pack ice in Antarctica are melting at a much more rapid rate than previously. And finally, that the sea level has been rising with increasing swiftness over the past 40 years. If these scientists are correct, about 25% of Florida would be flooded, along with low-lying areas all over the world. Climate changes could produce widespread disruption of agriculture. The American farm belt might be too dry, and the wheat and corn crops would have to move to Canada. Scientists blame the odorless, colorless carbon dioxide gas for these potentially dangerous changes around the planet.
If the H.G. Wells atomic bombs didn't exist, then what destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Let's take a look at the aftermath. Is this Hiroshima? Is this Hiroshima? Is this Hiroshima? What's the difference again between an H.G. Wells atomic bomb and a traditional firebombing again? When we say firebombed or carpet bombed, we mean the land was pelted with M47s and M69s. An M47 is a 100-pound oil gel bomb. Each B-29 bomber carried 182 of them. An M69 is a 6-pound gelled gasoline bomb, 1,520 per aircraft. Also, some B-29s carried high explosives to deter Japanese firefighters. It's easier to count the major cities the United States didn't bomb. 1. Kyoto. White controlled United States government spent $2 billion in 1942 money on these very expensive H.G. Wells atomic bombs if carpet bombing worked just fine. Why? To scare the world population and rule us by fear, of course. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were chosen because they were among the last cities standing and were mostly made of wood. A fire could incinerate them to the point of looking like they were vaporized by an atomic bomb. But maybe our eyes deceive us. Maybe we need testimony from an eyewitness.
With his background as a combat pilot, aeronautical designer, engineer, manufacturer, and military strategist, Major Seversky's advanced viewpoint and opinions are of vital importance to every citizen.
After visiting the major areas of the Pacific, I arrived in Japan. I began the study to which I had been assigned by making an aerial tour of the islands of Honshu and Kyushu, which encompass the main portion of industrial Japan. I flew over Tokyo, Yokohama, Yokosuka, Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe, Akashi, and dozens of other towns and cities which had been subject to intensive air attack. Some of these towns are so close together that they seem almost continuous industrial sites. All of these areas of annihilation presented approximately the same visual pattern. The smaller towns were totally burned out. Seen from above, the prevailing color was pinkish, the effect produced by the piles of ash and rubble mixed with rusted metal. Similar pinkish carpets were spread out in the larger cities, except that among them stood large and small modern concrete buildings in factory structure, unscathed bridges, and other objects that had withstood the impact.
We're adding, because of the Department of Transportation, a dust screen, but it also obstructs the view, which is a good thing, because we don't need people stopping over on the side and trying to exploit some of the different things that are going in.
They have shut down our ability to fly drones in West Maui.
We understand the freedom of the press, but when we were here 2 days ago, there was a national news site actually standing on Front Street, streaming. We're adding, because of the Department of Transportation, a dust screen, which does a couple things. It actually blocks the dust and the debris with the winds coming out, but it also obstructs the view, which is a good thing, because we don't need people stopping over on the side and trying to exploit some of the different things that are going in. It's a large scene, and so we're going to ask that you travel to and from where you need to go, and you don't pull over, because you're going to be warned and then you're going to be towed.
They have shut down our ability to fly drones in West Maui, which was not the case immediately after the fire. And personally, I'm wondering what changed. Now, you see the red box there. That covers most of the zone that burned, or maybe all of it. And this was not a problem, a few days after the fire. When this happened, we went down, and luckily we got a lot of good, high-quality 4K footage.
That's why we can't have you walking down there. And we had to arrest somebody for trespassing. And so if we want to keep doing this and slowing it down, keep doing that.
Many of the buildings, of course, were gutted by fire, but this was not apparent from the air. I was keyed up for my first view of an atom-bombed city, prepared for the radically new sights suggested by the exciting descriptions I had read and heard. But to my utter astonishment, Hiroshima from the air looked exactly like all the other burned-out cities I had observed. There was a familiar pink blot, about 2 miles in diameter. It was dotted with charred trees and telephone poles. Only one of the city's 20 bridges was down. Hiroshima's cluster of modern buildings in the downtown section stood upright. It was obvious that the blast could not have been so powerful as we had been led to believe. It was an extensive blast rather than intensive. I had heard of buildings instantly consumed by unprecedented heat. Yet here I saw the buildings structurally intact. And what is more, topped by undamaged flagpoles, lightning rods, painted railings, air raid precaution signs, and other comparatively fragile objects. At the T-bridge, the aiming point for the atomic bomb, I looked for the bald spot where everything presumably had been vaporized in the twinkling of an eye. It wasn't there, or anywhere else. I could find no traces of unusual phenomena. What I did see was in substance a replica of Yokohama, or Osaka, or the Tokyo suburbs, the familiar residue of an area of wood and brick houses raised by uncontrollable fire. Everywhere, I saw the trunks of charred and leafless trees, burned and unburned chunks of wood. The fire had been intense enough to bend and twist steel girders, and to melt glass until it ran like lava.
The fire had been intense enough to bend and twist steel girders, and to melt glass until it ran like lava.
Just as in other Japanese cities, the concrete buildings nearest to the center of explosion, some only a few blocks from the heart of the atom blast, showed no structural damage. Even cornices, canopies, and delicate exterior decorations were intact. Window glass was shattered, of course, but single-panel frames held firm. Only window frames of 2 or more panels were bent and buckled. The blast impact, therefore, could not have been unusual. If Dziewirsky's observations hold merit, that would make 69 Japanese cities carpet-bombed. Or, you could believe the official narrative, that the B-29 Enola Gay flew 31,000 feet in the air and dropped a uranium bomb named Little Boy that detonated 1,900 feet over Hiroshima at 8:16 a.m. on the morning of August 6th and killed 80,000 people instantaneously. Also, you'd believe that the B-29 boxcar flew at an elevation of 30,000 feet with the plutonium bomb Fat Man, which detonated 1,650 feet over Nagasaki at 11:02 a.m. on the morning of August 9th between the Mitsubishi Steel and Arms Works in the south and the Mitsubishi Urakami Ordnance Works in the north, and supposedly killed 40,000 people. General Crawford Sams believed the hype, but not entirely. Sims was a medical doctor, one of 6 men who ran Japan under Douglas MacArthur from 1945 to 1952. He believed the atomic bomb existed, but indicated it was not very effective. He revealed in a 1979 interview that he was ordered to exaggerate its power.
You see, it wasn't killing like putting in the publicity. A bomb went off and the city disappeared. No such thing happened. That was the propaganda for deterrence.
There was a letter brought over by this first group that came up to Japan from the Philippines with me, from the Manhattan Project, in which the president was looking for a new deterrent against a future war, because air power had failed to prevent World War II. You know, if you have another war, air power will destroy civilization, and it failed because it hadn't even brought Germany to its knees. A strategic bomb survey over there showed that military production had increased actually during our bombings. So the object of this instruction, called Letter of Instruction, was, you will play up the devastating effect of the atomic bomb. Alright, so I was the one who set the deadline this time. Anybody who had been in Hiroshima and died within 6 months, whether they got ran over by a bicycle or whatnot, would be credited to the atomic bomb. Attributing a cause of death to a major event for propaganda. Where have we heard that before?
The taxes! The finger thing means the taxes!
Well, I guess this is a case where we'll have to agree to disagree.
I don't agree to that.
Neither do I.
Oh, this is a deli of a pickle.
Sajada